Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Southern Discomfort. I am here with Bethany and Dustin right now, so thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I see we got the Bud Files here. Thank you, Bud, for hanging out with us tonight.
Yep. Thank you for supporting our Zekes.
Face the Ace, thank you for being here. So we have got a great show for y'all tonight. In just a little while, we're going to have a special guest up here with us. Artist and author Lisa Vasquez is going to be joining us, and I'll do her introduction here in just a little bit. And so y'all are in for a treat. And then, as promised on Thursday night show, which Bethany, did you ever go back and watch Thursday night show?
No.
Oh, so you have no idea what's coming.
You know, I can suddenly feel illness onsetting, so I can easily hit that little red leave button at any time, just random. So
no, the show must go on.
Yes, and it can go on without me.
No,
depending.
you have to be here.
No, I don't.
For this one. Yes, you
do. No.
Yep.
It's essential. It's essential.
It is.
God, why?
Why? Because I love you. I've got to make sure that the stream on Facebook is...
Don't you have a sock puppet you should be talking to right now?
I actually do. And that will be later.
Beautiful.
That will be later.
Beautiful.
So, Bethany, do you want to make a comment about how my special guest this week may or may not be real?
What do you mean?
Considering last time you asked me if my special guest was even real, if it was just a sock puppet I made up, and then, look what happened with that. So I was wondering if you had any comments.
For any reason to bring your imaginary friends to life. So sock puppets, finger puppets. Yeah. Any way to get them out of your head and into everybody else's.
I was just wondering if you had any smart aleck comment to try to invalidate the reality of my guest.
No, but I'm sure you will look for any reason to have another finger puppet, sock puppet, or I don't know, a garbage can that you now talk to called Fred. So whatever.
Face the Ace said, "Dude, you look like Hacksaw Jim Duggan." So I'm assuming he's either talking about me or Dustin. I would assume me since I have hair.
Yeah, because you got the white, you got the beard and the hair and the white.
Oh, I need a 2x4.
And don't forget the American flag. Do you remember years ago? I used to always bother you with that.
Face the Ace. That actually used to be what Bethany would pick on me about.
Mm-hmm.
Was Hacksaw Jim Duggan. So you're not too far off there.
Hey, PW.
PW is here with us. Thank you, PW. You are...
I don't look like no wrestler, but if I do the eye roll thing, you could say the Undertaker.
Yep, the Undertaker for sure.
I don't know, Dustin. Get rid of the goatee, and I think you got a Stone Cold vibe going on.
Oh, now that's a compliment there. Thank you.
Yeah, we need to get Dustin an Austin 316 vest and some Bud Light.
Yeah,
smash it on your head.
Yeah.
There we go, Dustin. We'll have Stone Cold Steve Austin and Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
There we go.
Good, and you two can fight it out. See which one of you win.
Oh no, we're gonna cross country in the RV.
And we'll have a crossbreed of Stone Cold because I'll make sure to do the Undertaker's eye roll too for it, so we can have a double bonus.
There you
Yeah,
go.
and if anybody needs to find you both, just look for any broken down Waffle House from here to Vegas.
Yes, and not only look at the Waffle House, Dustin. Where's that picture about? I'm gonna find that picture about the. Is that one up there about the Waffle House? Do we have it on the?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Let me. I'm looking through them right now.
I don't know. I don't know if I put the Waffle House one up there or not.
Maybe this is it. Hold on.
Yep.
There we go.
There's me wearing the pinhead mask.
Yep. The RV. This is me and Bethany's love chariot.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
AKA the Ectobago, AKA what we're going to use to travel in all of our paranormal investigations.
No, we're not.
This.
No.
Right
No, dear
This
God,
is
no.
how. This is how you will be able to spot PPR and company.
Yeah, going at a whopping 20 miles an hour with black smoke coming out of the back and stuff starting to fly off, making bets as to whether or not it's going to go actually up a hill.
It will make it. It will make it.
If there's a will, there's a way.
That's a thing of beauty right there.
That's not even a van. That's termites holding hands. I mean,
it's not a van. It's an RV. It's a house with wheels.
And look, it's already got pink cotton candy on it. See, look.
That's a matchbox on wheels. That's not even an RV.
And we know how much Bethany likes clowns and cotton candy. Right, Dustin?
Yeah.
Okay, you
Call me
know,
cotton candy because I be clowning.
That's still my favorite one.
There is my beautiful Bethany. Is the Art the Clown one on here?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm already here with two clowns.
Yeah, the Arctic Clown's on there too.
Okay. Let me find it.
I meant the two that are on panel with me right now.
That's a compliment to us.
Yeah, it is, actually. I must be missing it.
I'm gonna have to find like the old time.
Art the Clown in the RV.
There you go. Find cotton candy on a paper cone when you go live and hold it up.
Yeah. Oh, Bethany. You know, I wouldn't do this unless I loved you. You know that?
This is true, actually. If you were ever polite to me, I would probably be checking every insurance company to see what policy you took out on me.
Yes.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Too funny.
Well, everybody, we have a very special show tonight. I am going to have up here in just a little bit, starting things off, I'm going to have Lisa Vasquez here with me tonight. Lisa is a dark fiction author and an artist, and she is going to be here sharing a few paranormal stories with you, and we are also going to be talking about some of her upcoming books. Let me just tell you a little bit about Lisa before I bring her up here. Lisa and I met, I think, back in 2018 when she had Stitch Smile Publications. She was the one who found me and took a chance. She's the one who picked up the Johnny Walker Ranger book. And ever since then, Lisa and I have been really, really good friends. And I can't say enough about what an excellent writer she is. And this is Zeke talking, not about Lisa as a personal friend, but as a peer and a colleague. Y'all, I'm telling you, those of you who like my stuff, Lisa makes my stuff look like it should be written on a fortune cookie. So when I'm telling y'all, you need to pick up, especially this new book that she is going to be talking with y'all about tonight. Get it when it drops. It is one of the best short story collections that I have ever read. So without further ado, I am going to go ahead and pull up the Dark Queen. She is in the basement. So everybody, welcome Lisa to the show. Hey, Lisa.
Hey, Lisa.
I don't know. I was kind of enjoying the basement, so
it's dark and cold and creepy down there. So Lisa, up, we're playing Hollywood Squares here. Up in the corner, that is Dustin. And
how you doing?
Is the brains behind the PPR channel. He is the one who has started it, and he was insane or dumb or whatever enough to let me on the show and do this. So you can blame him for everything.
Oh, I take credit. It was my idea. I said, hey, Zeke, how would you like to have a show come up a few days a week? Give you full control of what you want to do as long as it doesn't exceed YouTube guidelines.
Yeah, you got to put some guidelines on there. And down in the bottom square, that is my fiance, Bethany, the one I've told you and talked to you about a million times. You've heard her name.
Hi, Bethany.
Hello, Lisa.
So, Lisa, before we kind of get started in talking about the writing and everything, and I'm gonna pull some pictures of your books up here and stuff. I think a good question to start with that would pique the interest of our listeners, because people who listen to the show, they like horror, they like the paranormal, and so I think a good question that they would like to hear answered, and just kind of wondering how your brain works and how everything kind of went down with you getting into writing and your paranormal experiences. Was it your experiences with the paranormal that kind of got you into horror and horror writing, or was it the other way around? Did kind of the love for horror come first, and then maybe the interest in the paranormal and experience happen?
Right. So horror came about actually because my stepdad, he has been in my life since forever. I mean, pretty much before I was born. So he was very into special effects. He's an artist, was an artist. Sorry, he passed, but he was into all of those things. And so when he came into my life, we basically sat down together, watched all of the classic monsters on an actual projector. So we would sit down and do this, but he would, I was little. So what he would do is he would explain to me what was going on. And, it was kind of like revealing the magician's secret. So it's no longer scary. And I think that was the smartest thing to do, because it didn't take the love for the movie out of the movie for me. It actually increased the love, because I was like, well, now I've got to figure everything out, and look how they did that. It's brilliant, so that's how it started. And taking the fear out of that didn't take the fear out of the paranormal, but paranormal sort of been in my life the same amount of time. I think I was maybe born into it. I don't know. It's just always been there. My mother was very into, pagan stuff, and she was into tarot reading and things like that. So it's always kind of been around. We didn't really look at it as quote unquote paranormal. We just looked at it as some, crazy shit is going on. Right. Mm-hmm. And I think as the older I got, that's when it's sort of dawning on me, like what this really is. Because like I said, it was always in our life before then. We thought it was normal, and come to find out it wasn't. So, I think when my youngest sister was about 2 or 3 was when it really started to become prevalent. So she used to see things. I dream things. She sees things. People come to me in my dreams. That's how I would, know things. My sister would actually see things, but they weren't like ghosts or, whatnot, but apparitions and scenes that would happen. And she would just talk to us about it. So my dad, what he used to do is he used to play guitar for us, and we would wasn't back then, record it on a tape recorder. And so as he was singing stuff to us, maybe she would see something and she would say, "Oh, there's a silver man spinning in the corner." And my dad would stop and be like, "What?" He'd like look over his shoulder and be like, okay. And, just little things like that. We used to live in it was like 100-year-old apartment building. And so little things would happen from there, but that's how it started. And I think just as we got older and other people weren't experiencing those things in their houses, so they'd come over and be like, "Okay, we don't want to come over anymore." That's how it kind of tied into each other. Yeah.
So how old were you when you started to realize your dreams were maybe more than just normal dreams? Like, when did it kind of click for you?
I would say probably not till I was much older, because you don't connect things like that. They weren't dreams like, for example, one of the dreams would be somebody who was a family member, and they would come and talk to me just normal like this, and then come to find out that person passed away. So they were coming to me to tell me things that I wasn't connecting because I was just too young to connect those things. As I got older and would remember my dreams, because I started to dream lucidly. As I got older and started to remember those dreams, I was like, well, that's interesting, because they came to me in my dream and they told me this or that, right? So passing that on to adults, they were like, well, that's weird, because why would they come and tell you things? It just little things like that. So I think I started connecting the dots before they did. They just found it odd. And so as I started dreaming more lucidly, I started asking questions. Like they would come to me and ask me a question, or they would come to me and tell me something. And so I would say, "Why are you giving me this message?" Or "What is this what's the importance of this message?" And I think the biggest one was probably when my dad passed. So my real dad had passed in 95, and we had just gotten back in touch with one another. My mother and my stepfather were having surgery. She was actually donating her kidney to my stepdad. So I was really overwhelmed by the situation of what was going on. And I remember I couldn't find my real dad's phone number. Now, this is back in the day when we didn't have our phones with, everybody's number in there. We would write them on the side of the wall, or like we would, write them on our hand, or write them on an actual notebook. And so I remember I just couldn't find it. And I was really, really distraught over this. And my mom had just gotten out of surgery, so she's heavily sedated. If you've never heard or seen or know of how big of a surgery donating a kidney is, this is a major, major surgery. So she had just come out of surgery. She had just come out of the sedation, but she was still way out of it. And I remember she sat up in the room and she looked at me and she said, "What's wrong?" And I said, "Wow, okay, you're awake now." I said, I can't find my dad's number. I can't find it to get a hold of him, and I really need to get a hold of him." And she says, "It's really important you get a hold of him." And then she passed back out. 2 days later, I found out my dad died. So, that was probably the biggest one to me, where I was like, okay, I really need to pay attention to the messages I get in my dreams. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's I can imagine how impactful that must have been for you, just on a spiritual and personal level.
Right. Yeah. That was my first major death that I had to deal with. Right.
Yeah. So speaking of like major influences like that on from the paranormal, are there any other paranormal experiences that were either impactful or memorable or just absolutely terrifying
Oh yeah. As I mentioned, we lived in a apartment building for I want to say about 10, maybe 10 years. So it was a 100-year-old building in Chicago. And if you know anything about Chicago, then you know the architecture is very influential, very important to that city. So there was a apartment that we lived in, and it was handed down. So the person who owned the building originally passed it down to their children, passed it down to their children, passed it down to their children. And we had, they lived downstairs from us, and they were a couple, and the sister, very old, like crypt keeper old. And the one guy was just miserable his entire life. I think just breathing pissed him off, right? And so we just always kind of avoided him. He was the creepy old guy. You'd be walking up the stairs. It didn't matter if you were tiptoeing or not. He would just come barreling out of the door and just be like, "Get off my lawn, shut up," whatever. And we were just terrified of him. And he had polio, so he was always like hunched over. Like, this is terrifying to children, period. And then his sister was like just as old. And she, she just, I don't know how to describe it. She was just very old, and she had like a lazy eye, and she was, she didn't have any teeth. And so, yeah, they were just a scary bunch of people that lived downstairs from us. She passed away, and my mother was actually there when it happened. So she was giving her CPR in the hallway. I just remember this very clearly, that she was calling out her name, and she was giving her CPR, giving her CPR in the hallway. And she passed away. She didn't make it. So a couple of weeks later, this is a 3-story building, by the way. So you have your basement, you have your middle floor, and then you have your top floor. So a couple of weeks later, we were all in our, house. It was nighttime. My dad was, he used to play in a band, so he was gone at night. It was just us by ourselves there. So my mom is talking on the phone with her friend, and all of a sudden we just hear tapping at the windows. And again, we're on the 3rd floor. So we're tapping in the windows, and we weren't paying attention because, kids, we throw rocks at the windows and whatnot. And we had trees all over the place. So we weren't paying attention. And then all of a sudden, whatever it was getting pissed. So it starts scratching. So I'm like, oh, okay, we're on the 3rd floor. I go to my mom and I'm like, yo, there's something scratching at the window. I'm not looking because I'm not stupid. So I'm like, I'm not going to look out there. You're the mom. You go look out there. And she was like, telling her, she's like, hold on, there's something going on. The kids are hearing something at the window. Yeah, we're on the 3rd floor. I know. So she goes out there and she's looking out the window. She doesn't see anything. And so she's like, okay, let's just close the window. Let's, go into our, our rooms and not think about it. Okay. And so it's time for us to go to bed. We don't want to go to bed. Obviously, we're scared to death. We don't want to go to bed. And she doesn't have anybody to call. Like I say, we don't have cell phones and stuff back then. So we're tucked into our bed. Me and my sister are in there together. And then all of a sudden, we hear this banging and scraping in the basement. Like, okay. So my mom's calling the police because, again, we're not playing games with this. It was also not a really great neighborhood that we lived in. I grew up in a very bad neighborhood. So she calls the police to come over, and we're still hearing it, like just bang, 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 and then just scraping across the basement floor, which is cement. So the police come, and now they need her to, open the basement door for her. The landlords are downstairs. They're of course upset because we got this chaos going on in the middle of the night. They open up the basement door, and back in the day, you have washer and dryers that it took like 3 and 4 men to lift up and put up on bricks. You had to put them up on bricks to level them. And from the washer and dryer to the stairs were fresh scrape marks. Yeah, fresh as day. Like, and
wow.
The police officers couldn't figure it out. So they're like, was somebody trying to steal the washer and dryer? So now they've gone around the building and they've looked around and they couldn't find anything. But yeah, I think we didn't sleep for a week after that. But that was one of the very many things in that apartment building that we had to endure.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That is terrifying. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and kids, you already have a fear of going in the basement. Every time my mom was like, yeah, go downstairs. So we had to go in the basement to do laundry. So she's like, every time she's like, go downstairs and do the laundry, you're like, fuck you. No, we're not going in the basement unless it's broad daylight and we've got like a giant lamp with us or something on. So yeah, it was pretty scary for us.
That is like a Stephen King short story in real life.
Yeah, I don't even think I could recreate the dread of hearing that, and then the scratching at the windows. Like, we tell people about that, and I can actually, I'm actually still friends with a lot of the people. Not a lot, sorry, a couple of the friends that I grew up with since I was 8, and they can tell you that that apartment, like, it just had a lot of creepy shit that went on. And of course, we're the creepy, you know, Addams family. So, you know, we used to watch horror movies all the time. I'd bring friends over, and they just wouldn't come over and spend the night anymore. They're like, you want to spend the night over here? Because we don't want to go back over to your house. But yeah, we were the creepy family.
Yeah, your haunted apartment.
Yeah, with the horror movies to add ambiance.
Oh yeah, you know, there's nothing better than like playing a horror movie in a supposedly haunted place or in a real haunted place. I mean, it just adds to that atmosphere.
Yeah,
for sure. But speaking of horror, and I've mentioned to everybody that you are an artist and an author. What got you into the horror writing and the horror art? I mean, we know your love for horror, but like, when did you finally say, okay, I'm going to attempt this. I'm going to attempt to write. I'm going to attempt to get published and get my stuff out there. Like, what was that process like for you?
Actually, believe it or not, it was role play. So I got into role play online, good old AOL, when it was dial up. And there were chat rooms that were actually made for people who role play. And the first character I played was a dominatrix vampire. So I went into the chat room, and it was just like text-based. So you would play with other people, and from there AOL evolved. So just doing text-based went from that to creating profiles for your character, and you know, in a short amount of time, it was like doing a blurb for who your character was. And then from there, people would make their websites. This was really involved. People were dead serious about this. You know, they weren't even playing around. So they would have character pictures. They would have cool backstories and things like that. So as it evolved from like 1 or 2 lines, text-based, turn-based, it went to these big, elaborate campaigns and stories. And I just immersed myself in it. It was the first time I actually felt like, you know, I was heard. And the first time I had a voice. So I could remain sort of anonymous and kind of just go into this character full-fledged. And it was so much fun. And this is around the time where, you know, you had everybody doing the Vampire Masquerade, things like that. So it was huge, especially in the 90s. 90s was really a fun time. But you know, that's how it started. And so I had all these characters, and I had all these storylines that I was writing, and I was like, what am I going to do with all this? And so somebody was like, well, why don't you just write a book? And it didn't even dawn on me. I mean, I'd been writing since I was a kid. Like, we had teachers that would really encourage us to write stories and short stories and things like that. So I'd always been writing, and I always found it enjoyable, and I was always reading. But to actually write a full-on novel, I hadn't thought about it until the role play thing. So yeah, once I started, I had to pick a character, right? And so the first character that I chose was actually Unsaintly, because I just felt like it was the most unique story that I had. Everybody can do vampires, everybody can do werewolves, but the Unsaintly is their own race. So that's what really started it. And, you know, art actually came around much later, but yeah. That's how it started.
Very cool. That has to be one of the most fascinating and interesting stories I've heard about how somebody got into writing. So y'all are in for a treat tonight hearing that. That is extremely cool and unique. So
that is awesome. And that brings back a lot of memories too, because I was into the same stuff.
Absolutely. And actually, Sinister Grin, R.E. Sargent, we kind of found out we were in some of the same circles. So, you know, when I found out that he used to do the same thing, and I heard what his screen name was, I was like, dude, I know this guy, right? So we just started laughing. We just had this connection, and we knew there was a connection there, but we didn't know what it was, and now we kind of know what it is. So, you know, shout out to all the role players, because that was a fantastic time. It's like our, you know, and campaigns for D&D, like it went live, right? It went on to, that's where everybody would kind of, you know, make connections. So shout out to everybody who used to do our, you know, RPing, role playing, and who still do their D&D campaigns. Like, you guys are the shit. You guys give us all of the necessary support, and also, you know, the ammo for some of the stories we come up with.
Yep. So speaking of that, we're gonna shift gears to talk about what you've got coming out. But just so I can show everybody, y'all seen me show you this stuff before. Lisa, she did the cover. She did my cover for Johnny that y'all all love. That is her work right there. She did that one. She did the one for Johnny 2.
That's awesome.
So this is all her talent. And I'm not done. Let me show you what else Lisa has done for me. Y'all have seen this one. She did the cover for Night of the Blood Come. That is her handiwork. And she also did the one for Beware of Monster. And she is doing my Southern Discomfort cover for December as well. So I will be sharing that with y'all. So that just shows you her breadth of talent as an artist. And she does her covers for her own books as well. And I'm going to pull this up for
and
you.
I've got her link also in the comment section. I'm going to pin it to the top of the chat so you can tell people too.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
So this, if you look on the screen here, this is what Lisa has coming out here in just a very, very short time. So the first thing, if you look on, which would be the left, the anti-God. All right, this story is a dive into the chilling story of Anti-God, the Book of Heresies, where Isabel Augustus trades opulence for a life of service and poverty, only to be marked by eerie signs of stigmata while beyond the human veil. Two gods battle for her immortal soul. A clash ensues as Lucifera, born from the cosmic union of the void and the God King, unleashes vengeance and corruption into the world, threatening to plunge it into an apocalyptic nightmare. Is Isabel destined to be a mere casualty in this supernatural struggle, or does she possess latent powers to confront the impending darkness? Prepare for a spine-tingling journey where horror and fantasy collide, as Anti-God, the Book of Heresy, will have you questioning everything. Lisa, let's talk about that one real quick before we go on to the next one. Tell us when this is going to be made available, like when the pre-sale is going to happen. Tell us the inspiration behind it, just whatever you want to tell everybody listening about this one.
Sure. So that book is actually the original The Unsaintly, right? So when Mara said the first book that I wrote was The Unsaintly, I actually left that one up because it was the first book that I wrote. And when I mentor people, I tell them their first draft or their first book usually sucks. So when they talk about my first book, I want it to be up there because when I'm mentoring people, I want them to see like, hey, I went from there to here. And yes, the first book sucked. And I don't care. Like, it's my proudest achievement. And so I left it up until now. I'm going to be taking it down. I think I've left it up long enough to make my point. So rewriting it really came about because I was like, you know, I've proven my skill level from there to here. And so I really want a chance to tell the story correctly. I really want a chance to sort of give the readers a fair assessment of what the Unsaintly is and where it came from, because it's my brand now. It's everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so I need it to be the cleanest copy that I could and the best story that I could make it. And that's where this project came about. So the first one was actually it was supposed to be a prologue to the full story. The second one was actually published by another publishing company, another indie publishing company. I don't want to name names because I wasn't really happy with how it was published. I wasn't happy with the editing. And when I took it back, because it was already edited, I put it up, but we noticed that there were still some more mistakes. And I really wasn't happy with the level of writing that's in that book right now. So we're going to take that down and we're going to give you the story as it's meant to be told in the full scope. You're going to get the whole thing. And to tell the story does take skill, because it goes from, just being sort of a quick story to very complicated story. So it has a little bit of theology in it, but to not offend anybody, I've changed names. So instead of God, there's God King, and instead of Lucifer, there's Lucifera. As you saw, the only person who stays the same in there really is Lilith. But yeah, it basically will challenge people's faith and what they really believe in. And the reason why I did that was because it was what I was going through at the time. Mm-hmm. So I was going through a very, very dark time in my own life, figuring out who I was, dealing with now the death of my stepfather, who I told you about, who was really my whole reason of getting into everything. And it was just a place that I didn't want to be in. And so I was questioning everything at the time. So I changed a bunch of things, like I said, to be respectful, but I really wanted to question everybody, because if you don't question yourself, then how do you really know what you believe in? Mm-hmm. That's what it is. You have to doubt it and answer it for yourself. But that's what I did with this one. And it's kind of, Book of Revelations is freaking terrifying. So it does deal with a little bit of that. It does deal with the fact that what if everything that you believed in was not the truth? What if it, whatever you believe in, when you die, you have a certain belief of where you're going to go. What if that wasn't the truth? What if it was mm-hmm. completely something else? So you take that away from people, and there's a lot of chaos and a lot of terror. And that's really what I wanted to focus on.
Yeah. And just to tell y'all, that's one thing that I love about Lisa's writing and why we get along so good, is everything that she writes is going to make you think. It's cerebral. It has a point. It has a purpose. It isn't just necessarily horror and scares just for the sake of it. There's right. always going to be extra layers of depth with what Lisa puts out there. And that's one of the things I really, really appreciate about her. So I know I'm looking forward to seeing what you've done new with this one. So I can't wait. So when will that be on pre-sale, or what do you have going on with that one?
So it's going to release on Christmas Day, which I think is very apropos, right? So we're playing on Ouija boards. Funny. I'm trying to check the comments as we go, but yeah. So I definitely want it to come out on Christmas Day. I think it's very apropos to the story. Release date. So Amazon is pretty funny how they do it. You can only do it so far in advance, and I don't want to do it too far in advance where you're just you forget about it. So I would say probably somewhere nearing 30 days before next Christmas. So let me make that clear. It's not this Christmas. It's going to be next Christmas that it comes out. So you have a whole year to kind of hear about it. I'll give you little teasers and things like that to go along with it until it releases. Okay, awesome.
Now let's talk about the one you have about to drop.
Mm-hmm.
Deviant.
So actually, you know what? I gave you the wrong one. So these are mixed up. So the one on the left is Anti-God. That's coming out next year. that goes December 25th. That was my fault, guys, by the way, not his. So that one's actually available next Christmas on 2024. The one on the right-hand side, that one's available November 22nd on ebook. The paperback is available now through me on my website. And those come with, of course, extra swag. But that one came about because I wanted to challenge what if societal norms and judgments weren't there, because we know that every society has sort of different norms. What's okay for us is not okay for them, and vice versa. So I wanted to kind of dive into a little bit of hedonism, taking out the judgment. If that wasn't there, what would people really do? And also kind of dive into a little bit of the psychology behind it. So, but it goes all over the place. Like there's a really wicked spider queen that's in there. There's, a haunted mansion. There's a little bit of everything in there for everybody, and some that might not be for you in there. So just depends.
Yeah. Deviance and Decadence was the one that I was telling y'all about. This short story collection is absolutely fantastic. Those of you, I know we have a lot of Lilith fans. Lisa loves Lilith. She's got a story in there by another author. There's a couple other authors included in the collection. There's a Lilith story in there that is fantastic, that y'all need to get the book and read that one. And one of the stories that has been getting a lot of love is that one about the garden.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So I did a reimagining of Midsummer's Night Dream. And so mine is Midsummer's Nightmare. And what I wanted to do was really take something classical, because I kind of write that way. I'm old school. So my writing's a lot more classical than what you may be used to. But so what I wanted to do is take something and say, hey, we can take something from the classical age of literature and turn it into horror, because I think people forget that's where horror is. I mean, Greek tragedies and things of that nature really build on those foundations. So I wanted to take those and bring back the love of literature and Shakespeare and kind of do it my own way. And that's what I did with Midsummer's Nightmare.
Yes. Now, I know with this collection, you've got some specials going on with it.
Yeah. So do you have what we said? Because we kind of went through some details on it. If you can remember what they are, but there's a special that we're going to do just for you guys. And it involves, there's a contest basically. So if you purchase the paperback, right? We did the paperback. If you purchase the paperback, let me look at it just to be, I'm going to go look just to make sure I get the right information. Yeah.
Was it, it was it was buy the Kindle book, leave a review, and get the free paperback.
There you go.
Yes.
Who's going to pass that up? So if you buy the Kindle version and you show proof of your review up on Amazon, then I will send you a free paperback copy. We're going to go up to 25. So it's first come, first serve, up to 25 copies. And then also it will enter you into winning this. So I didn't tell him I was going to do this, but I'm going to enter you into this. So I actually had this one and another one that people had to choose between for another contest, and this one was left over. So I'm going to pull out what's in here and kind of go over it with you. So we have a little squishy bat that's in here. And then we have, I know it's really not horror, but it's pretty in pink pins, and they just match this. So I really wanted to do that. So can you see it? There we go. And then, of course, we have a Stitch Smile sticker. It's a shiny, cool one. And this one I really love. This is a name badge. And I know this is pink. So for guys, if you really don't want pink and you want to use it for a gift, then tell me and I'll make sure that you have a black and white one. This one right here is a handmade paracord bracelet from Killer Quartz. And then again, if you don't want pink, I have black to match this one. This one says, "Leave me alone." And it's a stylus pen. And then, of course, a horror ducky. Who doesn't love those? And then again, we have this one. I do have this one in a black and white version. So just let me know if you don't want this one, especially if you don't want it for a gift or anything. You want one for yourself. Guys, let me know if the pink is not working for you, and I'll make sure you have one for you.
Excellent. So that is, get the Kindle, leave a review.
Right. Show proof.
Show proof, and Lisa will send you a paperback copy. And I put her link up there. You can go to unsaintly.com. That's like her catch-all. It's got all of her links, everything, books and stuff. So go to that link, and y'all, I am telling you, and y'all know me, I've been doing this show for a while now. I will not lead you astray. Get this collection of short stories. It is phenomenal.
So here is, I know I'm bending over you guys, sorry. So this is the actual book right here. I do have some of my own original drawings in there. And then some of the swag that you'll get with that is going to be the bookmark that matches. If you buy the hardcover box, you also get the magnet, and then you also get a spiral notebook to go as well. So everybody was really crazy about the cover, so I utilized that as much as I could. So again, if you purchase the Kindle and you show proof that you left the review, you can just email myself or Jared, email either one or email both of us and let us know. We want it to be fair to everybody. So we're going to give it, what do you say? We give it till the 29th?
Okay.
Yeah. That way people can just make sure that they've gotten their, sometimes Amazon takes a little while to show that you've left the review. So I'll give you all till the 29th. And on the 29th, I will let Jared announce on his next show who the winner is. How's that?
That sounds good. So through the 29th, y'all be sure to get a copy of this book, Kindle, leave the review, send the proof, and we can get that out to you. Now, if anybody in chat has any questions about Lisa and the writing or her paranormal experiences, this is the chance to go ahead and drop those questions in the chat, and we will pull them up.
And first, before we take those questions, I'm going to apologize to you because I keep calling you Jared. That's his government name. Shh. It's Zeke. I know him by his government name. We're going to call him Zeke today.
And while we go through and look for questions, would you care to introduce her to yobaby? She's up there with us too.
Yeah, well, I was fixing to say hello. Can you hear me?
Hi. Yes.
Oh, good. Yeah. Well, I heard that we were having a guest tonight, so I wanted to jump on and welcome you and see everything that Zeke was saying and everything that you had to say. And I got on here late, but I do have a question. And this may seem like it's really far-fetched out there, but I just went to your page and I was like, her face looks so familiar. You look so familiar. And I have got a very off-the-wall question, but to me, I don't think it is, because it's something that I think that I just saw. But can you tell me, have you ever been on The Hauntings? You've never been on the show The Hauntings?
No.
I have been watching that a lot lately, and I swear there is a lady that has been on there from a paranormal investigator that looks just like you.
Normally I get I get a lot of people that say I look like Jamie Gertz from Lost Boys. That's usually the first question I get, so that's a new one for me.
Well, I've been like binge watching it for like the last week, and there's been a paranormal investigator that has came on, and when I went to that page, I was like, she looks so familiar, and I was like, she was on this episode. So and then you being a paranormal investigator and being a writer and everything, I thought, wait a minute, I'm just gonna ask her. It may seem crazy, but I
No.
swear, I mean, you need to go check them out.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to go look
You're
now.
on there. Your doppelganger's on there.
Definitely. I'm going to go check it out.
But yeah, your work sounds very fascinating, very interesting.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
I just want to say, hey, Beth, how are you? Is she there?
Yeah, I'm here. Hi, how are you?
Hey, good. I hadn't been able to say hi to you in a while, so I just wanted to say hi to you.
Oh, I'm glad.
I've popped in chat a couple times and said hi to y'all, but y'all were busy, so.
A lot of times I have a hard time seeing chat, so.
Oh.
That's
How's the babies?
pretty good. My one's getting over congestion, and then the other one's had stomach virus. One had diarrhea, and the other one was throwing up.
Oh, yeah. It's that kind of time of year with the weather changing. And
oh,
stuff.
Yeah. Joys of parenthood. And I think all of us get that. So.
Oh, yeah. I've been through it, been there, and going through it with the grandbabies now.
The real horror. The real horror.
Yes, yes.
Hi, Myers. I saw you pop in.
Yep, we got Myers is in chat, Triple Lady. Who else did we miss? Big Ben is in there.
Yeah, and PW. That's
Paranormal Witch
in
is in
chat
there?
when I was down there a little while ago. Yeah.
We got Paranormal Witch.
Yep. That is PW.
Where did Dustin go? Okay. Just because I come up did not give him the excuse to get off.
He's hiding from you.
I know. He kept saying, come up, Tanya, come up, come up. So here I am. And, and now he done popped off. That's all right. I get him.
Yeah, Lisa. So Tanya's another member of the team. And then we also have Vickie. And she's not with us tonight, but she leads, has a Facebook show that she does called Reflections of the Paranormal.
Oh, okay.
So that's our little team.
Can I ask another question?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, I wasn't here in the beginning, so I didn't kind of get to hear the bio kind of thing. But how long have you been writing, and how long have you been a paranormal investigator or into paranormal, and what got you into it? And this may be repeat stuff, but
that's okay.
I don't know if I don't have.
That's all right. So I've been writing since about the 4th grade, but professionally, it started about 2008, 2009. And that started with my first book, The Unsaintly. As far as paranormal, it's kind of always been in my life. So I don't really do investigations. I try to stay away from that as much as possible. I am not really trained. And I really encourage people who are not trained not to delve into that, because it can be pretty dangerous if you're not.
You're right.
So I want to just encourage people that, if you're just delving into things, just be really careful, or don't. So I don't really investigate, but it sort of just follows me around, and I am sensitive to things. So if I kind of get like usually I get dreams. So usually dreams will come to me and it's somebody giving me a message. I do have some times where I can feel things, but it's got to be pretty strong for that to happen usually. And if I have a sense that something bad will happen, I always let people know that is going on. So there's sometimes where I'll have like a real off the wall dream, and if there's other people involved in the dream, I kind of call the family, like do my family tree.
You sound exactly like me, because that's what I do. I have dreams, and then I pick up on stuff,
Right. So just call people and just say, hey, are you okay? And usually there's a feeling that comes in the dream, where it's like maybe there's 3 people from the family in the dream, but they kind of focused on one person. I may call somebody and say, hey, you were in this dream, and I just kind of I kind of got a really bad sense of something. Is everything okay? And then usually I find out like, hey, something bad happened. Not horrible, not like nobody died, but maybe like they lost their job, or they're kind of stressing out money or something like that. So little things like that.
Yeah, I had woke up one morning and I knew something was going on with my son, and it wasn't but just not even 2 or 3 minutes later, my husband come through the door and he's like, don't freak out. And I said, it's Thomas, ain't it? And he had done jackknife his vehicle, and they were cutting him out, with the jaws of life, so I just woke up and started crying. It was like something's going on with Thomas.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I've done that several times. I know exactly what you're talking about. But okay, one other question.
Sure.
I heard y'all talking about Lilith. So I take it that you've read Zeke's first Lilith book. Have you made it all the way through? Because most people can't.
Yes.
Have you?
Well,
okay.
What you guys don't know is that a lot of times Zeke will send me his book first. So I kind of read over it for him. Now, I'm going to admit to you, my memory is like a gnat. So even though I've read things, because I've read so many books as a publisher, if I get details mixed up, I apologize right off the bat, because sometimes I have to info dump. So I'll read something and then I'll just info dump.
You read and plus you write. So that's a lot. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So sometimes he'll say like, you remember this one? And I'll be like, I do, but just to make sure I have my details together, I'll like pull it up. So I have like my notes. I have like little cliff notes for each book on there. And I'm like, I'm going to go back to this. So
right.
Yeah. Lisa has a whole file on me. So
yeah, I do.
Well, so I did get to hear that you actually created the covers for some of his Johnny Walker books, and was it one of your Lilith books? Is that right? Or no, it was one of your short stories, right?
No, yeah, some of the Southern Discomfort issues. Yeah. And Night of the Blood Calm.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I like Zeke stuff. I've got all his Lilith books, but it's hard for me to get through. You know, and
why? What makes it hard for you to get through?
But now I did purchase The Door one day, and man, I read it. Of course, it was just a short one. I read it within just, probably 30 minutes, if that,
Awesome.
But I really enjoyed that one. I don't know.
Tanya's talking about the Theo books. Lilith is mentioned in the Theo books.
Yeah.
She's not talking about the Gospel of Lilith, which.
Okay.
Okay. So Okay. So
Zeke and I like to play with Lilith.
Yeah, sorry, but you have read the Theo book. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep, Lisa was the one who mentored me through that. That was back in the early days. She helped me get started on that one. So
I think that was the first one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was right after Johnny. That was the second one I started working on.
Okay, so it was after Johnny.
But that was like your first.
Yeah, I think we went through
scary,
Johnny.
Not kind of comedy scary, right? That was like your first.
Yeah. So we published Johnny, and I think you were working with, who were you working with on that one? Donnell?
No, Lisa Lee edited that
Lisa
one.
Lee, right. So we were going through, actually there was another editor and that didn't work out for you. So we went to Lisa Lee, right. So so that was kind of like separate. Like I read it, but then I kind of gave it to the editor because I was like, no, I want it. I already knew I wanted it. But then we started a mentoring relationship where I was like, okay, let's just go dive into this, right? So he gave me the Adosha, and that's when we really started to go through that like intensely for mentoring. Not that he needs a lot of help, but sometimes, like even myself, I have a mentor that rips my shit apart, like honestly.
Right. Yeah.
Even to this day,
that's
I would rather. Right. I would rather my mentor and people who care about me and my work to rip my stuff apart than to put it out there and have it, be ripped apart by people who are reviewing or, just strangers, like, because they're mean. So I would rather it be the best thing that I could put out there and I'm happy with it than for me to put it out there and feel any regrets about what I put out there. So that was the first one that we went through.
Yeah.
Yeah. So y'all, Lisa mentored me. So, like I said, y'all have read my stuff. Her stuff is another level. So if you've enjoyed my stuff, then you need to go get this short story collection. It is, I kid you not, I've read a bunch of anthologies, a bunch of short story collections, and this one is one of the very few that when I reached the end and got done, I was like, wow, that was so good. So pick this.
Thank you. It was nerve-wracking, trust me, because again, like I've mentored people, so giving it to one of the people that I mentored, very nerve-wracking because you have something to live up to, right? Because like you imagine somebody mentoring you all these years and you read their book and you're like, wow, this sucks. Like what did I do with my life by all my choices? So it was very nerve-wracking, but I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I really appreciate that. But also I do want to make a little small announcement. I'm not sure if you're ready to do this yet, but I'm going to pop it on you. The next collection for next year,
Yes.
Zeke will be in that one. So we're going to be writing together.
Yep, I'm gonna. I've got the cover right here. I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm going to pop it up. Y'all gonna love this cover and the title. Check this out. Napalm Psalms.
Yeah. Oh wow!
So,
wow.
We're going to have so it's my collection, but I always bring in guest appearances because I like the diversity of having other people kind of just to kind of see different, different points of view and different writing styles. So this one will have Gage Greenwood, Ezekiel Kincaid, and Aaron Banks, who will accompany me in this collection.
Okay. So how many books will this collection be? Do you know?
How many stories?
Yes.
For me, it just depends on when I'm doing them, like what stories I feel fit best to the theme that we're doing. So the theme for this one is basically the war we fight within. And so that's why that picture is kind of the way it is, like, just eating yourself from the inside.
Yeah, I saw that.
But yeah. So it'll be the war within and, however we interpret that. And so for each guest appearance, they'll have one story. And then for me, it's just however many I feel will fit in there.
Okay.
But I saw that there was a question.
One book, then.
Yes. I saw a question on there that said, do you never see spirit face to face? I was talking about the spirit in the basement. Did I ever see one in person? I never saw a bad or stranger spirit in person, only people who are close to me. But I did sort of come face to face with one without a face. Does that make sense? So basically I couldn't see them, but I felt it. And so in this particular event, I guess incident, I had a neighbor, her children were staying at our house because the power went out in their building. So it was another apartment building when I first moved to Houston. And so they were staying over at my place. Her mom was still working. She was about to come back. And, the daughter was like, I don't want to go over there in the dark. She was young. She said, I don't want to go over there in the dark. I don't like going out in the dark. It's, I'm afraid of the dark. So I don't want to go over there and get my stuff, but I need my pajamas. I need some stuff, whatever. I had to wait for the mom to get back because she had the key. So the mom comes back, she's super tired. And I say, no, don't worry about it. I'll go pick up everything and grab whatever. So I took the key and I went to walk up the stairs to her apartment. And I literally was stopped, like, no. And that was the first time ever in my life that I could tell you that there was an absolute, you shall not pass, right? And my body went completely cold.
Oh my God.
Again, I had never felt anything so imposing. It was the scariest feeling I'd ever had. And I literally started crying.
Oh my goodness. I would too. I never want to feel that either.
Yeah. It was so much dread.
That's evil.
Yes. Mm-hmm. It was so dark and so much dread in that feeling. And I was frozen that dread, like I absorbed it. And my eyes were just like, I wasn't like sobbing or whatever, but I just started to cry. So you ever see those like close-ups in the movie where they're just like, oh, they're so scared. And then they just start tearing. Like that's what happened. So
I've seen that a lot on The Haunting this past week.
Yeah. So once it released me, because I was frozen, I could not move. So once it released me, I backed up. Like I didn't even turn my back on this, whatever it was. I slowly backed away and I went back downstairs, waited till the kids were in the other, I told the kids go into the other room. I wanted to talk to their mom, pulled her outside. And I said, what the F is in your house? Because it didn't want me there. Whatever it was, it was like, no, you're not coming in. And she's like, oh, that's just, my ghost or whatever. And she was pagan. She was dabbling in things too. And I said, whatever you're dabbling in, I said, stop it. Because it's very evil. It is
Did
very
she have
evil.
anything bad come out of that, or did she ever get it cleansed? Or
I don't know. I just would not go into her house again after that.
you never
She
knew
was one of those
anything?
people that I think dabbled irresponsibly. So when I say friend, she was an acquaintance friend. Like, she wasn't super close to me. I used to help watch her kids, and I never went to her house again. I was like, there's some people that like to play with things that they shouldn't, and
Did her kids
I don't
ever say
expose myself
anything
to
about that spirit? Did they ever?
They just,
intertwine?
like I said, the girl was afraid of the dark, and she was like 10, and most kids, there are kids that are afraid, but this was a genuine fear,
Right.
I don't think that it was just the typical fear of the dark, to be honest.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so this new series that you've got out that you were talking about, that about the Kindle and the book and the review and all, what is the name of that first book?
Oh, that one is called Deviance and Decadence. And just a warning for some of y'all, I know that you read Zeke's books, so you're probably prepared, but there is a lot of sexy time in those. So just so y'all know, I like to put that out there. If you have any triggers, you probably shouldn't read it. Same as Zeke's. If you have certain triggers, just be careful while you're reading that.
Okay. And so just to be clear, the one that would need to be bought and reviewed is which one? The one
The
that's coming out
Deviance and Decadence. So that one will be releasing on the 22nd of November.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And Lisa's link has been posted several times in the chat, so it's there, and that's kind of her page that has everything on it that you can go to and find the books on Amazon, Tanya. So
okay.
Now you can purchase the books. I left the books, the paper books, and there will be a hardcover that's coming out. I did leave those on Amazon, but that's just the book. And I did that because there are people in the UK and of course Canada who, the shipping to them is just really expensive. Now I will ship there. You just have to pay the shipping and handling. But if you order direct from me, that's where you get a little bit of extra swag in there. And then of course, I don't know if you were there for it, but you also have a chance out of that to win this.
Yeah.
So it's filled with, it's filled with all that stuff. But again, that's a chance to win that. And up to the first 25. So once those 25 books are gone, that's it. Once you leave your review and show proof of that, it's just 25.
That's the ones on Amazon. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, you buy the Kindle version of Deviance and Decadence and leave a review, and then you can send proof of that to either me or Lisa. And when she receives that, she will send you a paperback version of Deviant and Decadence. And can they have that autographed?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right. Autographed
book. I was
book.
going to ask how we could get an autographed one. Okay, but let me ask you this. What about the people that don't have Kindle?
So if you don't have Kindle, just message me, and then I will, I can send you a different format. So you would just pay me directly for that. So it's up to you. Also, Kindle does go distribute to other, I guess, platforms, and you don't really need to have a Kindle to read Kindle on your phone. It's a free app, so you can just download it onto your phone if you want to. But if you don't want to,
okay, because see, I don't have Kindle.
I'll send you a PDF. Okay, no
and
problem.
I thought, how would I leave a review? Because I can't read it because I don't have Kindle.
No, you can absolutely contact me, and I'll go ahead and get you a copy of it.
Okay,
it would be PDF if that's okay.
Oh yeah, that's fine. I'll see if I can the Kindle thing first, though. But,
sure. Yeah, it's a free app. You can put it on your tablet. You can even do it on your desktop if you wanted.
Yeah.
Very cool. Bethany, do you have anything you want to ask Lisa about writing or her stories or her experiences? Anything going through your head right now?
No. I've just been listening and honestly been up and down with a little one. So if I have to bail, that's why.
Okay.
No problem.
He probably thinks I didn't ask all the questions.
No, I think
can't help it. I'm nosy.
No, that's okay. You could be nosy. I don't mind. Bethany, I do have a question for you, though.
Does it have to do with the Winnebago?
No,
I had
it
to
has
bring
to
that
do.
up.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
No, it has to do with when am I going to get your story?
Actually, I'm finishing it up, and actually, I'm getting ready to send it to Zeke to give to you. It's all finished.
Sounds good. So, for those of you who don't know, I also have another anthology that's coming out next year, and that one is vixens of horror. So I'm hoping that I can get Bethany to submit something for that, because it has to do with women's voices, and it's not my collection. It's just an anthology that I'm trying to put together for other authors. So you'll get basically a vintage version of the 1950s women who were oppressed. And so I really want to talk about that, because Women in Horror Month is coming up in March. Sometimes they do it in February, but we tried to move it to March. And so I'm hoping that with the other stuff that I'm pulling Bethany into our dark world for, we could get her to write one for that too.
Yeah, Zeke had actually mentioned it, and I do have some different ideas running through my head. So very interested, and I will definitely get something to you as soon as possible.
Cool. Zeke knows I can talk anybody into.
He's very persuasive. Yeah.
Well, no, especially as a history fan, I find the 1950s. I love the style, but the ideology, to me, actually, there's nothing more terrifying than some of the ideology of the 1950s, especially for women.
Exactly. And that's really what I wanted to focus on. Like I said, with Women in Horror Month being March or February, depending on who you go with, I really wanted to bring about and bring female voices that either you know of very well or some that you haven't, and just kind of combine the two and really give you that spectrum to bring that up. But that's why, sometimes I do all females. So Deviant and Decadence is an all female collection of stories. And then the one that Zeke's going to be in next year, the Napalm Psalms, is going to have 2 men and 2 females. So myself and another female, and then Zeke and Gage Greenwood. So I really wanted to just, like, I always try to mix it up a little bit. Some, like Gage Greenwood is and Zeke are pretty well-known authors. And then you have Erin Banks, who's the other author, and she's sort of making her debut this year. So hopefully she'll be a little bit more well-known by next year.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If I may ask, why the 1950s for you? Was that just one of the more oppressive times for women, or just...
Right. So the 1950s was super oppressive. I mean, you've always had times whenever men went to war, women would step in for them. But in the 1950s, I think even in the 30s and the 40s, women started to have a lot more of a voice and a lot more freedom, right? But as far as the 1950s go, it was really when women started to be like, seen and not heard, just like their children. Children went through the same thing. But women were seen and not heard, and they always had to look a certain way and always had to be, put together. And, they really didn't have a voice. And it just happened overnight almost. So, everything that we fear, like with a Handmaid's Tale, is really present in the 1950s. So, it didn't matter that we took over when men went to war. It didn't matter that we can work outside the house. Once they came back, we were just sort of kicked out and told, where to go and what to do. And women were, being abused and nobody heard about it. They took away their right they never really had a right, but that's when it was really, took away their right to their bodies and the decisions that they make for their bodies. And women were dying because of that, and or being exiled from society because of some of the choices that they made, and sometimes for choices that they didn't make. Choices were made for them. So in this era, I really wanted to discuss that, and I really wanted to delve into it, because it seems like it's more of a time where we don't talk about, unless it's 1950s and 60s. Then you talk about fashion, you talk about all this other stuff, but you don't really talk about the oppression that was going on.
Very cool. I think Bethany will really, really like writing for that one.
Oh, I was just reading the comments. Laurel K. Hamilton is fantastic writer. I actually interviewed her, which is almost unheard of because actually it wasn't me, my magazine. Let me rephrase that. I did get to sit in on the interview, but we did interview Laurel K. Hamilton for the House of Stitch magazine, which for an indie publication was unheard of. So
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we literally got this gift in our lap, and so thank you for that. That's a high compliment for me. Really, really appreciate that.
Yeah, awesome. Okay. Actually, I do have a question for you. All right, so you would say that you are then a believer and a fan of the paranormal and of horror.
Yes.
Is there a true story of something that's happened to you personally that still to this day even terrifies you?
It's got to be the one in the basement with the scratching and the banging of the washer and dryer. These washer and dryers, like I said, took 3 to 4 men to lift up and put on the blocks that they were on. They had cinder blocks, and I remember watching when we moved in, my dad and his brothers, lifting these things up and almost having a heart attack, all of them, while they did it. And if they're not, once they're put on the cinders, if they're not balanced, they kind of rock back and forth. So, there's a lot of like leveling and things like that. So it took hours to get these up there. And we had been living there, I want to say, like I said, probably about 10 years when this incident happened, where we kept hearing the banging downstairs. And when the police came, those fresh marks being in the cement, these were lifted, like weren't lifted on, a dolly or anything, but the men were lifting them because we were renting and we didn't want to scratch the floor. So there was 4 big football sized men lifting these washer and dryers and putting them up on the cinder blocks. So when we saw these fresh marks, we were like, nope, no. That one to this day still puts chills on my arms. Yeah. Other than that, then, of course, the story of being stopped before I go into the apartment for the children. But that one, I think, probably is those 2 stand out in my mind the most.
Yeah, when Lisa first told me the one about the apartment and being stopped in there and not going up the stairs, it's like, why didn't you keep going? Why did you go?
Yeah, no. Mm-mm. I saw this movie. It didn't end well. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the people in the horror movies that always go to investigate the noise, right? Something bad always happens.
Yeah, I'm not carrying anything back with me. Like, no, like I smudged the hell out of myself when I came home. I was like, there's no way that I'm going to leave this in my house. I was terrified, literally. And like I told you, I have never, ever encountered anything to that effect. Feeling ghosts in the house was usually family members. So I would talk to them. I could smell my grandmother's perfume after she died for a long, long time. Or I would see doppelgangers. That's another thing. Like I would see doppelgangers of my dad or my grandmother to remind me that they're still there. And so whenever like my sister and my brother and I talk, we're like, hey, did you dream of daddy on his birthday? Or did you dream, like, the messages were always coming in, but these were, malevolent spirits, I have to tell you, because you just know the difference. You can feel it. When there's a warm, loving, spirit around you, and where there's ones that are like, we don't want you here, is very clear.
Yeah. We joke about that a little bit, but with what Lisa said, there is always a danger involved with doing investigations, and you've heard us talk about this on the show before, especially residentials.
Yes.
Like that, because you don't know what people have in their homes and
Right.
what they have and invited in. And, somebody just starting out or a novice should not be doing residential. So even though I pick on Lisa about not going, she did the right thing by, just avoiding it and getting out of there. That's what you should do in that situation. But I'm just
especially if you're not trained. And I make that very clear. I'm not trained in any sort of paranormal investigation. So it's not something that it's kind of like, let me go skydiving without ever having a lesson. Usually doesn't end well for you. So it's just something that I don't put myself through. People joke around all the time and say like, well, Ouija boards are just a game that came out and they really marketed it well, right? But anything that you put intention to can be used for bad or used to bring something in that shouldn't be there. So, you can joke around about it. Yeah, it is a toy, but sometimes it's not used as that. I can use anything. I can turn this into something that, tracks things that it shouldn't. So, just be careful with it. And, there's no reason why if you're, accompanying Zeke to one of his paranormal investigations that you shouldn't. He's trained. But if you're trying to conduct it yourself, probably not a good idea.
Yeah, there's definitely, it's the paranormal is not, it's not something to play around with. It's not like this fun thing to play around with like they present on the movies a lot of times. But, some of those movies, they do present it right. The people go in thinking it's a fun game to play around with. And then, all this bad stuff happens to them. Right. So it's definitely not something to take lightly.
Right.
For sure. So Tanya, Bethany, y'all got anything else?
I don't think so. I agree totally with everything that y'all have said. I do still consider myself a novice, though. Although I've been doing it for a while, even before I even met Dustin. But I don't go into homes and I don't do anything in my home. And I have certain rules and stuff like that I go by, and I also am very strong in my faith, and I know that what I have that's within me is greater than anything that is out there, but I'm not going to get into anything that is devilish, evil. I don't even look for that. I don't even go to them type places, just like going, like I've done places around here, like old jails here, just, different. Probably the worst that I have done here has been like cemeteries, because you never do know what you pick up at a cemetery. Normally it's pretty okay, but you just never know,
Right.
But other than that, it's always been like we have an old train station, museums, stuff like that. And then of course, like Octagon Hall, I like more of the stuff that is has the, older nostalgia stuff in there, like Octagon Hall has all of the, a lot of their spirits come from because of what happened back in the day. So, those spirits are actually living in their time of that time, so, but no, I don't touch a Ouija board. I don't even look at them. I will not have one, never have had one in my home, never will, and again, I don't play with anything like that or even open anything like that in my home. I have my paranormal equipment, but I cleanse it before I bring it in the house. And yeah, I have my own rules and all that stuff too. So
Zeke, what do you do, like, if you encounter something, for example, your crazy dolls? Like, if you encounter something that has, kind of a ill intent spirit in it, to not bring that around you, even though you're strong in your faith, right? You don't want that kind of floating around your house because, you have
Right.
people that
See, I
aren't.
wouldn't. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Even though I'm strong in my faith, I still wouldn't bring anything that I thought
Mm.
was demonic in my home, you know. And
Right.
just like Zeke, when he got this last doll, I mean, he kept it outside for a long time, and he got the spirits off of it before he would even bring it in, you know.
Mhm. Right.
Yeah.
So what would you do, like, you know, having something like you said, you kept it outside. So what are the things that you do to make sure that that doesn't attach to you in some way? Because I mean, you can do battle with evil, but to do it daily and nightly, like,
Yeah,
you know.
it's so you know, I get haunted stuff. I get haunted objects. This last one that a dear friend gave to me, it was a doll from like 1901, and it you could feel the heaviness with it, and I had to travel with it back to Louisiana in my car. So
that would have been a scary point for me.
I blessed it, and I cleansed it, and
you did a fire ceremony too, didn't you?
Yeah, there is a scripture in a lot of some of the things in spiritual warfare and Christianity talk about the power to bind and loose. And so I bound the spirit to that box and doll in the name of Jesus, and told it that it was not allowed to do anything other than stay attached to that doll and box while I traveled, because I knew that this was going to be a process once I got it home. So I traveled home with it, and nothing happened, nothing bad happened, but you could just sense it there in the back. And so when I got home, I ended up doing a several cleansing and then EVP sessions and stuff to see if there was anything left. And it took several times of doing this, and I thought the doll was cleansed, so I brought it out of the box and set it on my shelf. And then that night, I haven't had sleep paralysis in 20 years. And I had a sleep paralysis episode and seeing something in my doorway. And so I woke up and I was like, okay, this thing is still not all the way cleansed.
Yeah.
So it took me some more time. I did a couple more sessions with it, and Vickie, one of our other team members, suggested getting a new box and burning the old one. So I burned the old one. I got a new box, and blessed the doll, blessed the box. And so now it sits here in my room with no issues and no problem whatsoever. But for me, with stuff like that, it's not a one and done deal, especially when something has been entrenched and dug into an object for, that 1901, it's 2023. So for 122 years, this thing has been dug into there, and it's a process. So for me with things like that, I don't mind doing it. It doesn't scare me, but at the same time, you have to be extremely careful. Like I thought I had been careful. I thought I had cleansed it and everything, but still had something happen. And so it's definitely something that you have to be cautious. And it's something that I wouldn't recommend people just buying haunted objects and getting them just for the sake of it, because you don't know what's attached to it. And even me, with as strong as my faith is and all the experience that I have with this, it still took days. It almost took 2 weeks.
Oh, I can imagine.
Now,
do you think, let me ask you this, Zeke, do you think that it could have been attached to that box?
Oh, absolutely. I think it was attached to all of it.
Because when you sent those pictures of the fire, I don't know if you saw my comment underneath of one of them, but one of the pictures, if you go back and look at those pictures, it looks like a girl in the fire. Where the fire is coming up from the flames, it looks like a girl with a ponytail.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think that once you contain an object in something before it's taken care of, however you're taking care of it, it will permeate. It permeates and grows into that home, wherever that home is. So if it's been sitting in a box for, a year, if it's been sitting in an attic for a year, you have to not just cleanse whatever the object itself is, you have to cleanse whatever home it makes,
And what made me think that was because you had said that, you brought it in the house and then you took it back out and you got a new box, you burned the old box. And then I remembered seeing that it was truly a girl with a ponytail in the flames from that box that you burnt. So I was wondering if maybe it was more so attached in the box than the doll.
Yeah. And this is her. From 1901. She's pretty fragile and given to me by a dear friend. But she's clean now, and I'm able to keep her here in my room with no issues and no problem. So she sits right here by my bed.
Yeah, and the condition she's in,
that's good, right?
Yeah, the condition she's in for 1901, because most of those dolls have already cracked, and been repaired and all this, but she looks like she's completely intact. That's awesome.
She is. She's certainly barely intact. Like I don't
Hi, gorgeous.
At all, very much. That is her.
So her and Theo gets along well then, I guess.
Yeah. Theo is always right behind me.
Oh yeah.
On the show. Always with me. Bethany jumped off here and
yeah, I was just noticing that.
I saw this question: is Beth working on a clown recipe book?
Yeah.
We're going to wait till Thursday night's show to introduce y'all to Burn It Beth. Now, Lisa, I got to tell you a little backstory about this. Okay, so last time that I had a special guest on, Bethany made the mistake of asking me. She said, Zeke, is this like a real guest, or do you just have a sock puppet that you're going to talk to yourself to? So what I ended up doing is I actually made a sock puppet called Zekey Freaky. And Zekey Freaky has a fiance named Burn It Beth that will appear on the show, who is going to be giving us some special Thanksgiving recipes on Thursday, because one of the things I pick on Bethany all the time is about how she can't cook and she burns food, and we just we go back and forth, and here she is. I'm probably in trouble.
She heard her name being said. That's it.
Hey, Bethany.
Hey, sorry. No, my internet's been kicking me off and on here.
We were just talking about you.
Mm-hmm.
I was telling them about your how you had told me that my special guest was going to be me talking to a sock puppet, and what I did about that, and how we are going to have a special guest on Thursday night show that is going to be sharing some Thanksgiving recipes with us.
Yay.
Okay. Who?
Bernadette Beth is going to be with us. Y'all want to see her? I can introduce y'all to Bernadette Beth tonight. Dustin, are you around? You're not going to want to miss this. Dustin has been waiting on this for weeks. So let's see if he is in the chat. Now, I want y'all to know for Bethany's sock puppet, all right, for Bernadette Beth, I spent a lot of time working on this thing. The detail is just simply intricate and staggering. And I am not an artistic person, okay? I can't do arts and crafts, all right? I'm not like Lisa has all this artistic ability. I can't do anything. So this is high class and high quality. I made this sock puppet out of some of the most expensive material I could find because only the best for my precious Bethany.
Let me guess, dryer lint and elbow noodles.
So,
hey, Beth.
Here,
yes, honey.
I'm scared. Aren't you?
Beautiful Bernadette Beth. This is her. Now, if you will notice, this is
that?
This is an expensive Walmart sock.
She's got a pretty face.
The hair, the blonde hair. This is a Dollar General bag.
Oh wow! Thank you
It's
so
a
much.
Dollar
That's
General
just
bag.
so appropriate.
Yeah,
Babe, you went all out. I'm just here to tell you.
She's wearing flames for Bernadette Beth, and she's got the googly eyes.
She's pretty, just like Beth.
So look at that beautiful hair. I mean, it even crinkles. It makes noises. ASMR.
Okay, I have to ask, is this something that you... Please tell me this is really, honestly, something you created for the show and not something that you say created because you've missed me and it's something that you talk to alone when I'm not around.
I don't talk to Bernadette Beth, but Zekes freaking talks to her.
That's even more disturbing on so many levels.
Oh, that's funny.
Lisa, why are you surprised? I wrote Johnny. This should come as no surprise to you.
You also wrote the other one, Blood Cum, or
yeah, not the blood cum.
Yeah, he did,
yeah.
didn't he? He sure did.
And I read that one too in its entirety.
Yeah, I read that one too.
Yes. So we have some Thanksgiving recipes that are going to be coming up on Thursday night show, and I'm just going to give you all a little sneak peek of it. Somebody's got an echo. Is that you?
I know. I'm sitting here
Beth.
myself.
There we go.
So now the pictures that I'm going to show you, these are some actual pictures of things that Bethany made last Thanksgiving. And I'm trying to think which one to share with y'all to kind of give you a little taste here.
I didn't make anything to show you for Thanksgiving last year.
Yeah, yes, you did. So here's one. Bethany likes salad. And Thursday night, we're going to have this special recipe for you. This just give you a sneak.
I did not make that. No, I did not. That's disgusting.
What on earth is
this?
Okay, so last Thanksgiving, we had our Thanksgiving in like a barn.
I love how that's
hay
in hay too. That looks like it was served in a barn. That's lovely.
This is a shrimp Jello mold salad that Bethany made.
No, I didn't. I would never make this.
It looks like a jellyfish with mold on it.
I would never serve that.
It had eyeballs or something, like fish eyes in it or something.
So that I have more pictures from last Thanksgiving to show you on Thursday night.
I did not make that. I would never make that.
Bernadette Beth is going to give you the recipes of how to do that. Now, the kicker is you're not going to believe the turkey recipe that we have for you.
Oh, Lord. Okay, so with these pictures, you're actually going to produce a recipe?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you how she made them. I'm going to.
I did not make these. I did not. I didn't.
Bernadette. What is it? Bernadette?
Bernadette Beth is going to
So
give you the
Bernadette's
recipe
here.
Zeke style. So there's going to be some interpretive freedom here.
Okay.
Some interpretive freedom. Okay.
Now, just know, with the recipe, everything that you bake, the oven is always set on broil, and it's at least 2 hours that it goes in there.
Broil for the Jello thing?
Well, I mean, that's why we call her Burn It Beth. So that's what's in store Thursday night, right? We're going to have our serious time. We're going to look at the book of Revelation for about 30 minutes. And then after that, it's going to be fun and games in preparation for Thanksgiving.
Hell on earth. Gotcha.
Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Yes. Yes,
well, Lisa,
yes.
I do want to say I thank you for coming and being a part of our show tonight, and I hope that you come back. I hope you.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much.
I mean, even if you don't want to come up on panel, that you just come in and hang out with us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll get Lisa. She'll definitely. I'll try to get her back here every time that she's got a book or something coming out, or anytime you want to come on, Lisa. Just let me know, and we'll get you up here. It's usually pretty lax every week. I'll have a little something planned, and then it's basically just me saying whatever pops into my mind after that, which is dangerous. But now the thing is, all right, I have not gotten Dustin one strike on his channel yet. So I have been doing well. Not one. So
let's keep it that way.
Well, yeah,
so
that's what I'm saying.
Sounds like you're doing good, Zeke.
Yeah, hopefully I did not break that streak with him tonight.
No.
I've got like the pottiest potty mouth ever, so I think I really toned it down for this.
No, you have been awesome, Lisa.
Gorgeous says hello to the host, everybody.
Hello, Gorgeous. Welcome to the chat. Thank you for being here. So everybody, before we kind of shut it down tonight, just remember, go to those links.
Hi, Rumble.
Lisa has her Deviance and Decadence book on sale. You get the Kindle version. You leave a review. You can send the proof of the purchase and the review to me or to Lisa, and we will find a way to get you a paperback copy of that book, autograph one if you want it. But the limit is 25, correct, Lisa?
Right. So it's first come, first serve, up to 25.
Up to 25. Yes. So anybody in chat, this is kind of your last chance. If anybody has any remaining questions or comments for Lisa, speak now or forever hold your pee.
Forever hold your pee.
We'll give it a second, see if anybody has.
Well, I would hope you give them a little bit more than a second, because they may not type very fast. So
yeah. Well, by second, that I'm usually speaking in woman time, which that usually means like a few minutes. That's something I pick on Bethany about. She's like, "Oh, just give me a minute," and then like an hour later, she's like, "Okay, I'm ready." So we have real time and woman time, and so I have to ask her when she's telling me stuff. I'm like, "All right, are we talking about real time or are we talking about woman time here?" Just so that I can kind of know what to expect.
Yeah. Well, when I'm getting ready, usually it's just sit down and shut up, and when I'm done, we'll go. So
we always talk in women's time.
Yeah. Go do something. Go do something. Just I'll be ready when I'm ready. You can't rush perfection. So yeah.
That's right.
All right.
From
I
the
think.
kitchen to the restaurant. That's funny.
Yeah.
Talking
Yeah.
about food, then holding your pee.
Yeah. We will be all over the place tonight. Well, Tanya, Bethany, y'all have anything else real quick before we?
No, I think I done asked her enough. I done asked her all kind of questions. I don't want to wear out my welcome.
Bethany?
Yeah. Nighty night, everybody.
All right. Well, Lisa, thank you for coming on tonight and hanging out with us. It was great having you on. You did a fantastic job. Thank you for sharing your stories and sharing your books with us. And again, y'all pick up this short story collection. It is absolutely phenomenal. For those of you who are just tuning in, be sure to go back and watch the show. Lisa told some pretty crazy paranormal stories and experiences that happened with her. She talked about her books and her writings and where you can find that. So you're definitely going to want to go back and hear what she had to say and hear her inspirations and her thoughts behind all of these books. We will be back live Thursday, starting on Revelation chapter 4 for our Immortal Shadows show. So we will be jumping into that chapter, and Burnett Beth will be here to give you some of the best Thanksgiving recipes ever. And I promise you that if you follow these recipes, that you will provide your family with a Thanksgiving dinner that they will never forget, because God knows I never forgot it.
I do want to say one thing though behind you, Zeke. Zeke's coming on Thursday, just like he just said. I don't know if y'all have seen the thumbnail that Dustin has put out, but we will actually be coming on, I think he said Saturday.
Yes.
So we'll be coming on Saturday to be talking about an upcoming adventure that we're fixing to take. And we just want to share some of that with y'all. And we're going to have the Vixens on with us as our guests that night. So y'all come in and find out where we are headed to next.
Yep. And we're going to be promoting them. They still have some tickets left for their event.
Yes.
So we're going to be trying to help them sell those remaining few tickets.
Oh, yeah. You're not going to want to miss it. And the price is too good. And everything that comes with it is it's going to be phenomenal. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it.
Yep. So we will be here Thursday night and we will be here Saturday night. So
y'all just keep that in mind, because I know we normally don't come on Saturdays. So now, y'all have the first heads up, so y'all can be looking for us on Saturday.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It was a great amount of fun, and I do hope to come back and see you all real soon.
Yeah, we'll have you on.
Thank you.
Bethany, Tanya, thank y'all for being here as well. And we're going to go ahead and close it out every week like we do with the Never Give Up video that Dustin has put together for us. So y'all stick around for that. And thank you everybody in chat for watching, supporting this channel. Be sure to like this video. Be sure to subscribe to the PPR channel and Tanya's channel, the yobaby channel, if you haven't done that. Leave a comment as well on here on the video. Show your support for us. But remember, we love you, never give up, and we hope to see y'all back here soon.
Good night, everybody.
Is this what giving up feels like? I don't know, I don't know. Tell me, have I lost my mind? Nowhere to go, so far from home. Is this what giving up feels like? I don't know, I don't know. Tell me, have I lost my mind?